episode is about a tricky but necessary part of the startup journey, how to market something that isn't finished yet. How do you do it? We're getting feedback, interest, and even pilot traction with WIFT, but we're still building. So how do you sell a feature that's not necessarily done yet and you don't even know how it works?
Most definitely. And this episode is going to be for the builders, because I'm sure there's lots of us out there that have built an idea, it's in progress, but it's not finished yet. You haven't proven yourself. How do you market that? How do you share that with the world without giving away too much, without giving away your secret recipe? That's what we're going to get into today. But before that, here comes the rain.
All right, Kris, so weird, kind of funny topic. We all go through it, and I think when we're in it, it just sort of feels unique to you, but let's just call it this squishy area between MVP and feature build out. How are you feeling about where we are today, and what are your thoughts on marketing so far?
Marketing is a roller coaster. I'll start there. It's something that's so undefined, but you learn every step of the way. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. You're essentially trying to connect with your target market and those that may see the same vision or share the same vision that you have. So figuring out how to do that, there's no one size fits all. You just kind of got to put yourself out there, see what sticks, and always take feedback, whether positive or negative, and figure out how to use that to the best of your advantages.
Yeah, I think the point we're at now is, we have a great product as it is, but we know it's going to even be better in 12 months. At what point over the next cycle do we roll out the other features? Do we start to share them online? Do we get people excited, or even try to get into an enterprise model where we're selling it before it's even done? Those are the big questions that we're into today, and it takes a lot of feel.
Most definitely. And it takes a lot of collaboration. That's the most important part, because you'll get pulled in so many different directions when you start marketing and you start having conversations with different people. And it's essential to come back to your core team, your core founders, and have those tough discussions of considering that feedback, figuring out where you want to go, if it's best for the business, if it's best for the product. And as you have those conversations, you'll learn that you start to kind of build the roadmap to the plan that you think will be the most beneficial. And I think that's what we've kind of fumbled our way through up until this point, and just bouncing ideas off of each other, seeing what the other thinks, seeing what we think will work, and then going out and doing it. And sometimes it doesn't, and we learn from that. And sometimes it does, and the outcome is much greater. But regardless, we're always continuously learning, and I think that's been invaluable on our journey.
Yeah, I think we were in the App Store, we were out of the App Store, we were in beta, we were out of beta, we went to IMEX, we showed it to people in person, we gave them the beta, we pulled it out of the store, and now we're out of the store again, but we want to start talking about it, and we want people to get excited about it, but we also don't want to say too much, because theoretically the competitors are out there watching. So we're in a marketplace that has a large competitor that has a large amount of market share. We're solving for a pain point that they're not. How much do you give away and how much don't you? Because you don't want them to catch up.
Definitely. And that's the balance that I think is tough for everyone, because you want to give away enough to get people interested in wanting more, but you don't want to give away too much to give somebody else a head start on the same thing. And that's kind of where we are right now. We're at a crossroads where I feel like we have good market buy-in.
Yep.
There are people out there that have seen the idea of WIFT and the capabilities and how it could scale. And that in itself is enough for us to build relationships and build partnerships to continue to scale the product. And JR, I know you can attest to this. There have been times where we felt like we have given away too much and it didn't yield the feedback that we thought it should. And then there are times where we try to be a little guarded and keep the recipe safe. And that's what engages people to learn more and want to see demos and want to get the beta in their hands. And I think it really depends on who you're targeting. You need to do the market research to understand your end customer. And then you can understand those extensions of, well, who are like-minded people that also may be interested in this and would also like to be a part of the journey and moving this thing forward. And it's been a rewarding journey because we built a lot of relationships. We've met a lot of amazing people that have either handed us off to potential partner clients and things of that nature. So never take any step of marketing for granted because you are always learning something that'll help push the business forward.
Yeah, one thing I heard early, and we're bootstrap startup phase, so we don't have a marketing department. We are it. But as we get down the road and we have a marketing department and we have a sales team, you and I are still going to be the best salespeople for this. You and I hitting the ground and shaking hands and introducing the product to people in the end is what's going to get people excited about it. That sort of relationship that we're building now, the groundwork we're laying now, I think is setting us up well for the future. You mentioned it. I think one of my biggest weaknesses is I'm quick to trust and share too much. So I sometimes have to just tell myself to shut up.
I mean, it's easy, man. You got to think about it from this perspective. For those that don't know, this was an idea that came from just years of working in this industry, and to start building it and to see the momentum that it's gained, it's easy to want to share it all because we're trying to help a community, we're trying to help an industry, but not everybody is friendly in that matter.
Yeah.
So we have definitely learned giving away too much can cost you in the end, but bring it back home, it's a learning thing.
Yeah.
And as long as you're willing to learn, you can never fail, in my opinion. And I think that's exactly where we are.
Yeah. So as we start to build out what we're calling phase one, there'll be specific features and we're going to want to share what those features are, but they're not necessarily complete or their functionality isn't exactly defined. How do you see us sharing that and getting people excited without being misleading?
Most definitely. The number one thing that I've learned as of late, and this is from our development team actually, is you don't want to be too specific and you want to leave room for the imagination. You can get your point across in a general way that drives that feature or functionality home, but going into the details of how it's going to work or what's going to go into building it and what the end goal is doesn't necessarily need to be communicated at that stage of marketing. And I think from what we've seen, you get more of a reaction when you give less than if you spill all the beans in one post and give away the blueprint that you're building. And I think it's just that sense of anticipation. When people get a little taste of something and they think it's going to change their life, their job, their industry, they want to learn more because they don't have the access to that knowledge. And that's a powerful, powerful tool. And JR, I'm sure you can talk to how we've learned that over the past few months, just in talking with different planners and different companies that are interested in the product.
Yeah. And being broad allows you to listen to the market more than being very specific. So, some of this stuff is subjective. When you say it's going to do X feature, that might mean something to me and mean something completely different to you, Kris. And I want to hear what it means to you, especially if you're excited about it, because I don't want to go down a path where I'm defining it a certain way and build something that you don't want. I want to hear what you want.
Most definitely. And that's where we've learned from the dev team. You have to plan for ambiguity. You cannot plan a software or application launch perfectly the first time. There's always going to be change. There's always going to be room for pivoting. And you have to communicate that to your target market as well. Because just like JR said, if you think of a feature one way, the end user may think of it completely different. And now you've overpromised, and that person is looking for that exact functionality, which may or may not be possible or best for the business. And that's where you can get yourself in a little bit of hot water if you share too much detail regarding what you're building, how you're building it, and why. Leaving it in a vague or general state will allow you that comfort or that cushion to be able to pivot and change and really deliver something that the market's going to receive well.
Yeah, I think we've heard it before, but sell the outcome, not the feature. Sell the feeling, If you can get people to buy on feelings, then you're doing something great. And I think time saving is a huge one, especially in the modern world that we live in today. Yeah, one note that we made in preparation for this call, and we just talked about a little bit ago, was you don't get to not market. It's either intentional or accidental. You're doing it one way or the other.
For sure. And sometimes bad marketing can yield good results, you know? You never know how things are going to go. You just got to be willing to put yourself out there. But for the listeners out there, I want to give a full disclaimer. We did not have this mindset when we first started this journey. I remember it like it was yesterday. We had these very specific features and functionalities and expectations that we thought were it. We thought it was perfect. And then as we started doing requirements gathering, as we started talking through, well, if you were an end user, how would you expect this feature to work? Our ideas of what we thought we wanted to build completely shifted.
Yep.
Had we promised that to the market at that time, we would have had to eat our words. And now we're already off to the wrong foot with a market that we haven't even proven ourselves to. So take the time to have those conversations, because it will lead to a much better understanding of where you want to go and how you want to get to that end goal.
Yeah. And then the other thing I've been asking myself recently is, not only do we have to market features that don't necessarily exist yet, and we're not even in the public marketplace, but when do you start to go after your opponent in that space? Is it when you go to market? Is that a go-to-market strategy? Is that a pre-market strategy? Is it to make them nervous before it's even on the market, to say like, hey, it's coming and it's coming for you? I don't have the answers to those, but man, that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be another roller coaster that I'm excited for, but it's a little scary, because similar to what we're talking about marketing, you don't want to give away too much. And once you make that move, you're on the clock.
Yep.
Everyone knows. Everyone has the insight.
Yep.
Everyone has visibility. And I just think it presents less room for error. Not to say that you can't learn and pivot and regress a little bit, but once you're on the radar of some of your competitors and other industry players, that's where things get real. And you got to be efficient. You got to have a plan, and you got to have a team that you trust. And that's, I think, the number one thing that I've learned over this last few months is investing in people that you trust and that share the same vision and the same common goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's invaluable, and you can't do this without a solid team in your corner.
Yeah, one thing we talked about this morning, Kris, sort of unrelated to this, is, what if we get down the road and we're building out our feature set and we have a potential customer come to us with cash that says, I want to build this other thing. And how do you stay true to the marketplace and not get distracted by what the money wants? Because in the end, I think that's what happens with a lot of products is you get to cash, or you get to a customer that's driving revenue, and then you build what they want and not necessarily what the entire market wants. And I think in discussions around how we're building the company, and there are a few ways to do this just off the top of my head, and one is have a diverse board of directors that are making these major decisions for the company, so that you're getting good insight across a wide swath of people, but also an advisory board or even a pilot market like we're trying to engage in now, where you're getting raw feedback from the people that will use it actually on the ground, versus just listening in this echo chamber of you're doing great, you're making the thing I want, and then you actually take it to market and it turns out it was just a thing that they wanted, not everybody else.
Most definitely. And back to our trust point, you got to trust that advisory board.
Yeah.
You got to trust those people that they are going to put what's best for the company first. And as a founder, you have to be open to maybe going a direction that you necessarily didn't think about or align with out of the gate. And I think that's going to be a challenge for us, because this industry, the events industry and event technology, is such a huge, huge industry. And I feel like there's so many ways that this thing could go, but we got to ask ourselves, what is the end goal for us? Where do we want to be? Where do we see ourselves in 10 years? And it could be one thing today and it could be different in a month from now.
Yeah.
How do you plan for that, JR?
You have to have a North Star. We've talked about that. We've said all along, no matter what, we're going to listen to what the market wants, and we're going to make a tool that planners actually want. We're not going to tell them what they need. They're going to tell us what they need, and that's what we're going to make. And I think if we continue to beat that drum, we're going to win. I mean, there's no way you can lose in that scenario, even if it costs more money to develop, even if it costs more time to make. In the end, you'll have a product that everybody will want to use because it's essentially crowdsourced by the industry itself.
Most definitely. I couldn't agree more, because we've seen it in the early stages of our marketing where the raw reactions of the thought of what this could be just based on what you see in the moment, you can't ignore it. And if you make your target market feel like they have valuable input in driving what you're creating, you can't lose.
Yeah, there's no better information than the information that your customers have. So listen to the customer. I think that's like business 101, but we get so far in the weeds sometimes you just forget.
Most definitely. And I feel like it's more common than people think. Like,
oh yeah,
it sounds very simple. Like, if someone gives you feedback, listen to it and figure out how to implement it. But
yeah,
there's been so many examples where I've just seen that not happen, and the customer's not happy, but things just continue to go as planned.
So I think we're going to keep this one tight today, but we're doing some intentional, unintentional marketing kind of through this podcast. What do you want to say to the listeners today to get them excited about what's to come from us, whether it's related to the podcast or to WIFT or any other future endeavor?
Most definitely. To the listeners, I would just encourage you to engage. If you are part of the events industry or event technology and you know about WIFT, you're curious about WIFT, you have a friend or a colleague that it could help, you want to learn more about it, we want to engage with the community. And to JR's point earlier, we want to build this based on feedback from the community. We're not leading this as if we know it all.
Yeah.
And I would encourage anybody that has any remote interest to reach out to us and figure out a way how we can collaborate or partner, or I'm sure you all have valuable feedback that would be beneficial to the development of WIFT and what it can become and how it can scale. So I would just encourage collaboration. If we're connected on LinkedIn or other social platforms, feel free to reach out. Let's have a coffee chat and just talk how the industry's going, how it's shaping, and maybe we can share a little bit more information than we are on the podcast.
Yeah. I would say keep watching because we're going to make something big. And I know that can happen for a couple reasons. One, we're good at pivoting. We've been doing it since day one. We know how to listen to the market. We know how to change when you hit a wall. We do that really well. But also a big part of business is grit and determination. And when most people would quit, that's when we pivot and start to work harder. So we're going to be here, whether you like it or not, and we're coming for it. Might look a little different than we pictured 6 months back, but it's coming. And if come along on this journey with us, because it's going to be fun to see where it goes. And the more people we could bring along, the better. This really is about a community. So I'm excited for the future.
Most definitely. I'm ready to run through a wall after hearing that. But I couldn't agree more, because to your point, we've been grinding at this thing for about a little over 2 years now. And for me personally, I know that these last few months have been the most motivating and rewarding months for us as a company, as a partnership, and just as entrepreneurs. And I think we all can feel something big's about to happen, and it's only a matter of time. And we're hyper focused on not only delivering, but also making sure we're doing it with the customer first.
Yep.
And I think that is what sets us apart from competitors and others in the market. We're really working with real planners, real sourcing managers, and those that are seasoned in this industry. And our community has provided amazing feedback that has helped us shape the product today. And I can only imagine how we're going to scale over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So super excited for this ride.
Man, I don't even know what's going to happen next week. So yeah, let's go.
Most definitely. And to those out there, I think we should do like a merch giveaway. We got a lot of merch that
Yeah.
we're kind of sitting on
I
right
got
now.
one
We
right
got
here.
coffee mugs, we got planners. What else do we got? Pens with stylus on it.
Mhm.
So maybe we can do like the first 3 or 4 people to comment on whatever platform. Send us your address in a private message or some sort, and maybe we can send out some whiff swag.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, we got some hats too. Great for golfing. I'll be wearing mine on
Most definitely.
Friday. So yeah. So here we are. We talked about marketing. I think the message is if you're pre MVP, post MVP, pre market, in market, there's no wrong time to start marketing. It's just what you say and when that's important. So be clear, be human, let the audience in on the process, let them speak to you too. We're all figuring this out as we go, and especially as the marketplace changes and technology changes and the implementation of AI and the way that algorithms change on social media, we all have to be adapting in this marketing boat at the same time. So if you have any best practices or you want to share some things with us or the audience, we appreciate that as well. So we'd love to
Most
hear from you and how you're handling it.
Most definitely. And the last thing that I'll leave the listeners with is something that has really hit home with me over the last year. And that's never underestimate the power of in-person connections. JR and I have done so many cold outreaches via LinkedIn, via email, via connections that we've never met the person, but someone referred us and we're just sending them an email and jumping on a call. The most impactful marketing and response that we have gotten is boots on the ground, shaking hands, and sitting at a table and talking with planners, sourcing managers, hotel professionals. I highly encourage, if there's an event in your area or if there is a flagship event for the industry, take that opportunity to just go and talk with people in person and you won't regret it.
Well, I can't put it any better than that. So let's put a bow on this thing.
Until next time.
See ya.